Back home, people. Back home in my natural habitat. Couple of days after the madness, couple of days after the state that you saw me in after the game. And I won't lie, I'm still kind of annoyed. I still can't believe what happened, and obviously seeing the Spurs content unfold over the last 48 hours or so is yeah, man, it still hurts. It still hurts. And do you know what it is? Like I was gutted that I couldn't make the final. I mean, you guys saw me. I was sat here and I told you guys that I would have loved to go to the final. I would have loved to go and watch United in a European final and see them lift the trophy, which obviously didn't happen. But looking back, I'm actually glad I didn't go, because when I look at, some of the journeys that, some of my guys had to make, the likes of Flex, Josh, Saeed, Ash, Liez, Culture Cams. When I look at the journeys that they had to make, some had to fly into different countries, 1, 2, then they had to hire a car, drive 4 hours to Bilbao. Some had to take coaches, and some had to take 2 flights. And bro, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, some of the journeys that people had to make just to get to Bilbao. It's not the easiest place to get to as well, but people made it work. And when I look at what they had to do, the sacrifices that they made to get to the stadium and the return they got, I feel sorry for them, man. I really, really feel sorry for them that they had to witness that live-o. They had to witness that live in the flesh. So obviously the madness happened. So yeah, like I said, I'm glad I didn't go, because that would have sent me over the, oh God. I've never come on here and shouted, but I think if I would have gone to Bilbao and I would have seen that, and I would have seen the way we lost, I probably would have lost my head. And that probably would have been the first time you see Aaron on his channel, like proper rant, So I'm kind of glad I didn't go, man. I'm saying this in hindsight because we lost, and if we won, it would have been a different story. I could have said, I'm gutted I didn't go because I did want to witness it, but you've got to live with the situations that you're in. And the situation that we're in at the moment, I'm glad I didn't go. Really glad I didn't go, man. Now, obviously, the madness happened. And then things happened after the game. Quotes were shared online. And after the game, I didn't really pay a lot of attention to the quotes that were shared online on Twitter and et cetera, press match conferences, post press match conferences and interviews after the game. I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it. It's only the day after that I really read through what was being said. And this is where I get to my next point. I've said what I had to say about the manager. But I'm really onto these players, man. I'm really, really onto them. And 2 things can be true. The manager, in my opinion, shouldn't start the next season. I'm not saying kick him out, but he's just shown that tactically it was a disaster class on Wednesday. You got outplayed and out-tactic, by a man who was known for playing a high line, didn't budge, didn't want to change it. But guess what? He changed it for the final because he knew he wanted to win that trophy. So he changed it up in the name of, I want to win a trophy. So why didn't you do it? But anyway, like I said, I've said what I had to say about the manager. But like I said, I am onto these players. I am absolutely onto these players. The first one that I saw is Mr. Luke Shaw coming out after the game, talking about we need to look at ourselves and think about whether we're good enough for this club. I'm sorry. Right message, wrong messenger. Off the rip, let me just say that. Right message, wrong messenger. Because this guy hasn't been able to stay fit. Forget being good at football. To stay fit, which is the minimum requirement to be a professional footballer. You have to be fit. You have to look after your body. You have to look at what you eat, how you sleep, how you recover. Basic things that you're taught before you sign your first professional contract. Basic things that they give to you as a youngster before you get into that professional world. But then I think back to all of the things that were said about him, what Mourinho said about him, what Pochettino said about him when he was at Southampton. All of that was ignored. And yet for the last 5 years, I have been told by our fan base, and I'll get to the fan base in a minute, I have continuously been told by our fan base, on his day, he's the best left back in the world. Right message, wrong messenger. Think about getting fit first. And I'm not here to body shame anyone, but that's just the truth. You look at the guy coming on, when he came on against, who was it? When he came on against Lyon in the Europa League, the guy looks unfit. He doesn't look fit to play football. If it's Sunday League, fair enough. But professional football, come on, what are we talking about here? That was the first one that sent me over the edge. The second quote that I saw, not a quote, but reports coming out. No, it was actually a quote. It was a quote. Second quote coming out was from the captain, Bruno Fernandes. Now, I've said my piece on him. I said, listen, there's nothing more to be said about him, because every time it comes to the big moments, the guy goes missing. And it's not the first time we're seeing this. It's not the first time we're seeing this. People keep telling me, oh, where would we be without Bruno Fernandes? Where would we be? And I asked this question on Twitter. I put out the tweet and I said, where would we be without Bruno? Where are we with him? And you know what happened. You know exactly what happened. You can probably predict it before I even say it. You got fans coming at me and saying, well, we'd be relegated without him. So that's something to celebrate now. That's something to be happy about. And this is where my problem lies with United fans. No matter how bad things are, they always want to find a positive. And in this context of us losing the final, losing against Tottenham, tactically being outplayed, losing in that manner, your positive response is, without Bruno, we'd be relegated. That's the positive that you take from the final. And when I ask that question, I'll go one step further. If this season had any more games, if this season was 5 games longer, we'd be relegated with him. So what now? Because clearly Mr. Fantastico can't turn up in the big moments. Didn't turn up in the final in 2021 against Villarreal. Didn't turn up on Wednesday. Wasn't the main man in the FA Cup. Wasn't the main man in the Carabao Cup. Because you look at the decisive goals that were being scored. Who scored it in the FA Cup final? Kobbie Mainoo. Carabao Cup final. Who scored the decisive goal? Casemiro. So I don't know where you got this Bruno prop from. I don't know where these world-class shouts come from. Mr. Captain comes out and says, well, if the club want to get rid of me, along those lines, I'm paraphrasing. Well, if the club want to get rid of me, I'm not going to be opposed to it. He did the same thing, what was it, last season, and got a new contract. You're not fooling me, mate. You're not fooling me. And to be fair, he's getting old anyway. There's nothing more that he can give us. Build a team around Bruno. We've been doing this for the last 5 years, mate. It's not worked. He needs better players. We surrounded him with arguably the top 2 best player in the world, in the history of football, I should say. We surrounded him with arguably top 2 of all time in football history, in Cristiano Ronaldo, and it still didn't work. So what do we need to give him? Messi? Please, that Saudi bid that reports were talking about, Man United, get back on the phone, take that bid or accept the bid, take the money and run. Let's rebuild again. This squad, people don't understand, this squad needs to be blown up and we need to rebuild properly, because people keep talking about rebuilds, but then when it comes to their favourites, it's no, but where would we be without Bruno? Where would we be without... No. Blow up this squad, start again. Like, honestly, you don't want to start next season again with Bruno Fernandes. Again, for the 6th consecutive season. I can't do it. I can't do it. Doesn't turn up in the big moments. And it's not enough to say, yeah, but he did it against this team and that team. And if it wasn't for his goal against Ipswich, we would be relegated. Let me tell you something. In 20 years, yeah, when we talk about the Europa League final 2025, no one's going to remember that Bruno Fernandes scored a goal against Ipswich that saved them from relegation. And no, what people are going to remember, or what I'm going to tell my son, yeah, if I have a son by then, I'm going to say, son, Europa League 2025, Dad, what happened? Man United lost 1-0 against Tottenham. That's it. I'm not going to be talking about Bruno Fernandes scoring a goal against Ipswich a couple of weeks prior and that saved us from relegation. I'm not going to say that. Winners win, losers tell the story. Or losers make excuses in this case. But like I said, I'll get onto the fan base in a minute. So United, take that money and run. Then you got Alejandro Garnacho. And it's going to sound like I'm singling them out, but at this point, I don't care. Because a lot of people are going to see this and say, well, you should apologize to the players. I should apologize to the players. Me. Who's putting all of my time into doing this. I should apologize. They should apologize to them, to the fans. The players should apologize to the fans. Apologise to the likes of Flex, Saeed, Ash, Culture Cams, Lies, who travelled God knows how long. Some of them travelled for 10, 20 hours to get to Bilbao. They should apologise to them. I should apologise to the players. You're having a laugh, mate. You're having a laugh. And all of that frustration is coming out now because I've held it in for days because I didn't want to come across as, the angry guy. But at this point, I've got to be real. I'm not going to sit here and swear. I'm not going to do that because I've got kids watching me and I swore in my last video and it just didn't feel right because I thought, damn, I've got these kids watching me. I've got my nephews watching me all the time and it's not good. Honestly, the fans should be apologised to for all the travelling that they did, for all the planes, the bus journeys, the coach journeys that they made, travelling to Bilbao to watch that nonsense. They should be apologised to, not us apologising to them. For what? For what? Garnacho comes out after the game, and one thing he's very bad at is reading the room. He is extremely bad at reading the room. Talking about, I helped the team all the way up to the final, and I've only played 20 minutes. I'm going to go in the summer. I'm going to go and enjoy this summer, and then we'll see what happens. And then reports are coming out that Garnacho is unhappy with his role at the club. Unhappy? My brother, you've played 58 games this season. 58 in all competitions. That means, if I'm not wrong, he's played at least 36 games in the Premier League. Game 38 is happening tomorrow, Sunday, against Aston Villa. So that kind of gives you a perspective. Out of 38 games, he's played at least 36. You're unhappy with your role at the club. You've played 58 games across the season, bro. 58. But you're upset about a little 20 minutes that you got in the final. And to be fair, in his defense, I would have been fuming as well, yes. But bro, in the final, it's not about you, it's about the team. And yes, Mason Mount put in a stinker. I agree. But guess what? Nobody cares about how you feel. The team lost. Everybody lost. The last thing people want to hear is how you feel about the fact that you only played 20 minutes. We don't care, respectfully. He's extremely horrible at reading the room. Extremely horrible. Only thinks about himself. The size of his ego is absolutely massive, but the talent and the ability to match that is nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Which probably brings me to my last point, because I don't want to make this a super long video. Really and truly, tomorrow, that stadium should be empty. Honestly, that stadium should be empty, but you know what's going to happen? Tomorrow, I can bet you the exact same thing that happened against Bayern Munich in the last Champions League group stage game a year ago is going to happen. And I'll tell you what, tomorrow, I bet loads of fans are going to go to Old Trafford and clap these players off. They'll be clapping them off, cheering them on. They'll be singing like we just didn't get embarrassed in the Europa League final against Spurs. The same way they clapped these players off for finishing last of the Champions League group. In a group that had Bayern Munich, Galatasaray and Copenhagen. They clapped these players off. The players done a lap of honor like they finished first. And these fans clapped them off, and I was stood there thinking, what on earth am I watching? They clapped them off like it was some sort of achievement. And that is my issue with the fan base. The fan base doesn't know when to show their anger. And when they do show their anger, it only takes a little bit to make them happy again, and they forget about everything they've just said. It happened countless times. There was a walkout planned when Oli was in charge. Oli came out in the press conference and begged you lot to not let down the team. You lot didn't do nothing. Another walkout was planned. Prior to that, the club brought Bruno Fernandes. No walkout. You can sing all the Glazer songs you want. You can be in a stadium and sing all of the derogatory songs about about Joe Glazer all you want. That's not going to help. Being in the stadium, paying your ticket, being in a stadium and singing songs is not helping. How many times am I going to have to say that for people to understand? Being in the stadium and singing about Joe Glazer is not helping. You've been doing it for how long? How long have you been doing this for? Has it worked? The only thing that you lost is your voice. This club is finished. I said it. As an institution, as a football club, as a brand, finished. I'm reading that United are losing money left, right, and centre when it comes to sponsorships, Adidas, all types of money is being lost. So that's why I said, sell some players, take the hit, sell Bruno Fernandes, sell Sancho, sell Rashford, sell Anthony, recoup that money, start the squad again. Because we got at least 3-4 leaving anyway. End of contract, retiring, whatever. Use that to rebuild the squad. Use it. I don't want to see Man United start the 25-26 season with the same guys again. Shaw, Maguire, Onana, Rashford, Bruno, Lindelof. Please, rebuild the squad. Blow it up. Just blow it up. You've got guys like Ryan Cherki available for 20 mil, but nobody's in for him. No bids, no nothing. No. These are the type of guys we should be going for. But anyway, I don't know if I'm going to the game tomorrow. I'll be honest. I'll be at the game to work with BR, but I don't know if I'm going, guys. I'll be honest. But listen, if you enjoyed this video, if you made it till the end of this video, I should say, go in the comment section and type in "blow it up." No, blow the squad up. Yeah, because if you just say blow it up, people are going to think weird things. But anyway, it's road to 20k, people. I appreciate your support. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.